Really proud of our team. It was not too long ago we were, in this very room, our team in that very locker room, and we didn't have a very good taste in our mouth. And the NFL is about facing adversity head on, collectively working to do the things you got to do to correct whatever you need to. But sometimes it's just a reality check on figuring out exactly who you want to be as a team. And I felt like there were some critical parts to not only our preparation but our performance today from a standpoint of winning the turnover battle clearly 5-0. That's a hallmark of our organization, led by our defense, our offense, and special teams' ability to not turn it over and effectively move the ball and do our jobs and play complementary of one another. But it was also about the leadership in our team, and we've got a lot of them. It's not just our 8 captains. We've got nearly 30 players receive votes to be captains this year, and I can name player after player that showed up today and were phenomenal for their team. And just so proud of those guys, and this is the feeling that we chase, and now we've got to go back to work and start checking the box of being a consistent football team, showing up on game day. Still very much some things to correct. I thought we had way too many penalties, way too many self-inflicted penalties. But when we were not hurting ourselves, we did move the ball effectively and complemented the other 2 phases of our team well. Individual performances, you have to start with Isaiah Rodgers. It's really hard to find a performance defensively, especially on the in the back end and the secondary, where the plays normally have to come to them for them to make such an impact on the game. He was finding plays to make regardless of whether the ball was thrown to him his way, or he was just seeking the ability to impact the game. And my goodness, what a performance. Not surprised, though. That's a player that from the very moment we signed him, I knew he was going to have a monumental impact on our team. Jordan Mason, clearly, being a little bit of a bell cow today. I thought the other 2 runners, Zay and Cam, both ran it well when they got opportunities. Our offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage. And then I do believe Carson Wentz, just a guy that came in, played point guard for us, ran the show. It was efficient. He made great decisions. He got through his progressions and did a lot of things to help the Minnesota Vikings win today. I know it was a out-of-body kind of experience for him. Today winning a game here at US Bank Stadium as a former lifelong Minnesota Vikings fan. Not former. He is a lifelong Minnesota Vikings fan. But to me, the goal was to go 1-0 today. I know sometimes the 0-1s, cause a likely storm and frenzy, and they should, especially with the expectations that I know I have for this team and hopefully what our fans have for us. But it showed some growth and maturity, and the ability to come back and put a performance like that together, really in all 3 phases, is very encouraging for the future. Just a little injury update. We did come out relatively clean for the most part. Okudah was evaluated for a concussion, but was cleared to return. And Hargrave had like a chest rib contusion, whatever that is. But he could have came back if required. But we wanted to be smart with him. I thought Christian Darrisaw's snaps were absolutely outstanding, and he could have continued as well. But we had a mindset on kind of what we got from Christian today from a snap standpoint, and hopefully this is a big stepping stone for the future. Harrison Smith comes back and immediately puts his hands on a ball, tips it, and led to Zay's first touchdown on the pick 6. And then, Andrew Van Ginkel with the 2 sacks, coming back, being his reliable self in every way. I could go player after player, but today, and it's about those guys today, so I want to make sure I allow you guys to get back there and continue to talk to those guys about the win they just had.
How much of the turnovers can you attribute to personality of the defense? On the pick 6, Rodriguez was at Browning's feet. Harrison tips it. Isaiah picks it off, and then Bernard goes up downfield.
Yeah, and it goes to Flo on the call. It goes to, there's probably 4 or 5 other guys that had in some way, shape, or form an impact, whether it's eating double teams, whether it's attacking with movement. Regardless of the call, I thought Flo called a tremendous game. I thought we had a great plan, mixed it really well, and the guys made it come to life. So, but clearly when you can have your defense scoring 14 points and giving you opportunities as an offense, and then what I did like was our ability to, for the most part, turn those things around and execute. And when we didn't have penalties, I thought our offensive execution was was pretty good. And to me, it's the pre-snap ones, new quarterback, new center, cadence, all those things. All those things can be excuses. They're not going to be. We've got to fix those things and be on the hunt to play even more consistent football for 60 minutes next week.
What were you seeing from Isaiah Rodgers behind the scenes that sort of led you to believe this is building?
Well, it starts, if I'm being 100% honest, it starts with, I can remember vividly the conversation with Brian Flores about him and the vision for the player, the vision pairing him with Murph and what we thought that could be like. Flo, I don't want to go through the time we've been together and those types of names when he's got that tone in his voice when he brings it to me and we collectively then collaborate with the personnel side. But Isaiah's on that list of guys, and the other ones that he's mentioned have turned out pretty darn well here, and then some of the guys that maybe went elsewhere, those guys have showed up well. So I think it's a matter of Flo's impact and his ability to have vision for players like we've seen here with 2 free agencies now where there's been an immediate impact on our team from some of these guys that show up and end up being great Minnesota Vikings for us.
Speaking of vision for a player, what did you see for Jordan Mason, and has he kind of met what you saw for him?
Exactly. You guys can feel the power he runs with. He's a really good 8-9 wide zone runner. He finds the space. He can put his foot in the ground. He can get north. And when he gets around the goal line, and we have the type of movement and some of our work up front that we had, both from our line and our tight ends, our receivers were involved in the plan today. Big time. I thought Adam Thielen was huge in the run game. Jalen Naylor, Justin Jefferson had some, blocks that you would have thought we threw an 80-yard touchdown with how the guys in the booth and some of the coaches were reacting. So the all-11 feel was there, absolutely in our run game. And then I felt it as well, in our execution in the pass game. And there's some plays out there that we would, thought we could make, and we'll make those. We'll continue to grow as a unit. But Jordan Mason, I would have loved to get him more work, but it got to the point there where we wanted to be smart with him, and he got north of that 100 mark. He got in the end zone twice, and we were going to shut him down for the day.
Kevin, with Christian, what was the conversation like over the last week, getting him to the point where everybody felt good?
Yeah, I knew basically Wednesday's practice. He was the first guy to every drill, first guy in the huddle. Just a juice that, quite honestly, elevated our entire team. I told him, I told him out on the field, if there's ever a question of what a franchise left tackle means to an organization, I think we felt it today. I think we felt it throughout the week. I think the confidence level that his teammates had, our quarterback had, was felt. And that's really what guys like CD at the top tier of their position in the NFL do to football teams. And I knew early in the week we would have a chance, but at the same time, it was always going to be a process. The work from the start of his rehab, from the moment he had the procedure to now, I could get emotional talking about it just because I'm there every day and I see it. I see the journey that this guy's been on, and the love of football and the love of his teammates every single day working back to this moment. Probably I loved giving Will Riker and Isaiah Rodgers and Carson Wentz game balls. But that was by far my most, the most memorable one that I've had in a long time, just because of the personal one-on-one kind of journey from that moment late in the second quarter against the Rams on Thursday night to right now, and watching him do what he did today. And he will only build on it. But I think he's, I'm just so proud of him.
Is this what you envisioned when you signed Carson as the veteran backup? And I know you didn't necessarily want to see him, but you did.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is Carson, whether it was the Thursday practice, Atlanta week he stepped in, or having all the reps all week long. I think he's learning with the type of people in that huddle with him. If he just takes the right footwork, does his job, runs the show, there's going to be people to throw the ball to. We're going to be able to be efficient. And once we rectify the penalty being something that gets in our way from success, we will have a chance to be a complete offense. And I think he felt that.